Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Embodied by Mac. My name is Michaela. I'm an evolutionary and predictive astrologer, and today we're here for your February 2026 horoscopes. This is a rocking and rolling month because we start off the month with a very dramatic full moon in Leo, and then we have Saturn moving into Aries, which is initiating a 3-year cycle. Saturn's going to conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, which is a cycle we have never experienced before in our lifetimes. That's a total reset in a certain part of your life. And we also have a new eclipse season starting in the Aquarius Leo axis. So, eclipse seasons tend to be pretty intense and can accelerate things in our life and feel like we're being forwarded back onto our path or redirected onto our path. And it's really where time collapses, karmic situations kind of fall into place and we get redirected and pushed along further in our journey for growth, for evolution, to meet your aspirations, to meet your goals, your manifestations, what have you. But eclipses can be intense emotional periods. So we're going to talk about that definitely. And then towards the end of the month, we are in the middle to the end of the month, we are in a Mercury retrograde period. So, first Mercury retrograde of 2026. So, there's just a few things I want to touch on for each of the astrological signs for this month. I think that's pretty much enough to get covered. And at the end, if you feel like you want a reading with me, then you can go to embodiedbymac.com. You can book a reading right through there, or you can connect with me on any of my social media on Instagram, TikTok, or here on YouTube. You can find my email, send me a letter, and let me know if I can help you. And if you want a reading to navigate the next 6 months ahead for us in 2026. Okay, so make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready for your horoscope. All right, Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising. The funny thing is before I went to record this, I was like, oh, I need a snack. So I went to get a snack. Anyway, so we are going to start the month with a full moon in your second house, Cancers and Cancer risings. So this is very much the second house related to your money themes, and there's a spotlight here and illumination around your money, but the second house is where you make your money, right? It's your personal assets. It's not with other people, it's not shared. It's you, your skills, your values, and your money and your time linked to that. So there's an illumination here, and it's Leo house for you. So it's all about your self-confidence and your self-worth that's tied to money. So there could be some illumination or some insight that you're like, hey, I need to charge more, right? Like I'm good at what I do and I need to charge more. I need to, you have like emotional clarity essentially about where you stand when it comes to your skills, and your asset, right? You as an asset and your skills and what you do and how you bring that into, um, making money for yourself and as a survival skill essentially. So you should be proud. This is a moment where, I think Cancer Sun and Cancer risings are so sweet and caring that they very rarely let their ego take over in a healthy way for them to like get the respect that they deserve for like their craft or what they do. And so this is essentially is a moment for you to feel proud. You should definitely feel proud. Like the universe is illuminating this for you. Hey, this is where you're at. And then, do we want to upgrade this? Because you are going to get some upgrades financially if you so choose to. And I'm going to talk about that with the eclipse cycle coming up for you down the line. So this could very much be a culmination or illumination around like a financial situation that needs to come to a turning point also. Maybe there's some new financial things that are popping up, right? That maybe could be of your own accord or could not, could be linked to other partner as well. But realizing that, essentially, hey, like you deserve respect. This could also not even just be linked to money, by the way. This could be an upgrade or an illumination of like you knowing that you need more respect. Maybe you need to hold more boundaries in certain places, but you're feeling motivated essentially to integrate that new self-empowerment and that proudness that comes into illumination under this for whatever that is. Um, Allow that to be integrated into your self-worth, and then essentially you get to upgrade so many other dynamics or areas of your life. This would be linked to a little bit of drama, make maybe it roughs some I meant feathers of other people just because it's in Leo, but really the spotlight is on you in this area of your life. So, permission to own it. Okay. And then later in the month, we're going to have Saturn and Neptune moving into your 10th house up here. Okay. Gotta move this a few hours forward just so you can see. My God. So slow. So sorry. What time does this happen? 7. So Saturn and Neptune moving into your 10th house, which is your career house. Okay. So it's a very important house because this is your public image and your career and how you're being viewed in the world. This is definitely related to like your marriage partner or you're dating because this is where we're seen as like, especially in the older days, like, are we married? Are we a king? Or are we a queen? Like, what is our public status and our recognition? Some of us still refer to ourselves as kings and queens in this time. So whatever, but this area of your life is getting a fresh new beginning, okay? So here you got to blend some discipline, okay? And it's for the next 3 years, right? So career, public house, maybe you're a parent, maybe that's requiring you to have more discipline. Um, maybe you're going to become a parent. That could also be a theme because when Saturn moves in here, it's like, oh, they have to be more responsible. They're having another kid, or they're having their fourth kid, or they're having a kid, or they're getting married, or they're starting a business, or they're moving house, right? There's some type of shift that happens because Saturn's moving into this house now and it's a new sign. And there's an upgrade for you to have this sense of more focus and responsibility in this area of your life. Okay. You would have had a preview of what this was from May 24th of 2025 to September 1st of 2025. Life gave you a preview of what Saturn in the 10th house in Aries looked like for you. If you want to spend a few moments and focus on that, look back in your photos, for instance, what was happening, what was going on. And now you're going to have this energy consistently from February 13th to April 12th of 2028. Okay. So this is going to give you essentially an upgrade, but it's going to require you a little bit more effort and hard work and determination in this area of your life. Okay. This could also be about you building a new identity. So, if again, after this full moon, you're like, hey, I'm an expert in my craft and I'm going to raise my prices, it could very much be linked to something like that as well, right? Like people are seeing your identity actually shift as an authority in whatever realm your particular focus is on. Um, this is also about taking bold leadership steps in your life as well, okay? And like long-term things becoming more of a focus in your life. Saturn loves to be in the 10th house, so this is a nice transit for you actually for the next 6 years because Saturn also likes to be in the 11th house. So this is a really good time to upgrade your work, your authority, your family, what have you, because Saturn's going to be in your 10th house and then eventually your 11th house with groups, communities, and so forth. So you've got some you've got some time here to really benefit from that. Okay. Also, with Neptune here, Neptune can be quite the opposite, and not to be confusing, but quite the opposite of the energy because Neptune can be distracting from our focus. Okay. And it can kind of feel like things are not graspable or nebulous. This is really good for people who work creatively or need to at least work creatively. Because if you feel like you don't have creative potential or talents, Neptune's going to come in here and allow you to kind of draw on energy that is otherworldly, that is beyond you, that is, um, outside of your consciousness. Okay. So it helps you like solve things, helps you solve situations or problems. Okay. It's also going to ask you to sacrifice some time, right? So you're going to have to give up something to gain something else with this Saturn Neptune conjunction here. Because with Neptune, we have to do a little bit of sacrificing. Okay. Or a little bit of surrendering. Okay. So, be careful of like trying to escape too much, maybe into work or escape too much into family and realize that the balance is going to be needed here because Neptune's going to blur those boundaries for a while. Neptune's going to be in this part of your chart for the next 14 years. So it won't always so be as strong, but at times you might get so burnt out from work that you feel like you need to escape into your family, but then you're neglecting your work. And then what happens to your work? That could deteriorate. And then on the other hand, you could escape so much because you're so sick of your family into your work, but that could deteriorate the connection that you have with your family, right? So it's very much going to have to be a balancing act, right? Especially as Saturn and Neptune are in here together, right? But ultimately, this is a really nice transit. It's a beautiful transit. Saturn and Neptune are at a 0 degrees Aries. This is a world point, and it's happening in your 10th house. So if you want some visibility or worldly success, if you want some fame in that public arena, I would push it. I would push it for a while and use Saturn as um, that fortitude, if you will, to gain that recognition. You might not get it right away, but as long as you put in the effort, like it's not viral, you go viral energy. It's more of like you work hard for the next 3 years and then you will get it. And so you have to have that faith that Neptune is there, that it's going to provide you with with that if that's something that you want. Okay. Then we're going to move on. We're going to move on to 17th, which is a eclipse in your eighth house. Okay, so we have an eighth house eclipse. Yay! Um, in Aquarius, and this is starting um, the new cycle of eclipses in Leo and Aquarius. Okay, so the last time you had these eclipses happening in this area of your life was February 2017 to January 2019. Before that, they were happening between February of 2008 to August of 2009. Now, there will be similar themes, okay? There will be similar themes, but they won't be exact because obviously there are other planetary energies that are quite different, right? But there will be similarities. And this is happening in your eighth house, Cancer. So, there is a lot of sudden shifts, which is a very Aquarius, and breakthrough energy when it comes to your emotional and psychological self. Okay. Maybe there's been deep pains. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe there's hurt. Okay. That you're dealing with. This is the time now during this period. And this eclipse cycle is going to last from February 17th to January of 2028. Okay. So don't feel like you have to rush this process. Eclipse energy can feel like you have to rush. You do not have to rush. Okay. It can feel accelerated and it is eclipses allow them to just rewire you on your karmic path. Okay. When you're not on your path, an eclipse comes in and it's like boop and it bops you right back on your path, right? And it's really where fated events happen. Eclipses are fated events, right? So here though we're dealing with like emotional detoxes for you cancers, okay? And that's really good because you're a very emotional. I got a Cancer moon. I totally understand it. We are emotional human beings, okay? And so you can expect some endings and new beginnings when it comes to old pains, old hurts, and you allowing yourself to have these sudden shifts and sudden psychological and emotional breakthroughs, okay? Especially when it comes to shared resources and intimacy in your life, okay? There's this nice psychological renewal that's going to happen around this eclipse period. This can also be a fresh start when it comes to you allowing trust and vulnerability into your life, okay? Because this eclipse is all about ending and beginning and the sudden transformation that's happening. This could also mean new financial agreements are happening when it comes to you and somebody else. So maybe you're deciding to partner on business with somebody. Maybe you're deciding to go into something with somebody. Maybe you're buying a new house with somebody, taking out a loan. Um, Maybe you're so rich that is Aquarius, you're able to buy a private jet. Like, who knows? Okay. But there's something around the financial sector that is about shared resources that is also getting a new beginning. So that's exciting times for you guys, Cancer. I will have to tell you, do not sign any contracts until after this Mercury retrograde period, which is going to begin on February 26th. Now, the shadow for Mercury retrograde begins actually on February 11th, okay? So from February 11th to March 20th, okay? Don't sign any contracts yet, okay? This is a time for revision, okay? And hearing back, you're going to hear back from people from the past. It might be people connected to schools that you went to, higher education that you went to, higher learning. It could be people that you met traveling abroad, or they could be from abroad because this is your happening in your ninth house. But this is also a time where you're kind of revisiting your belief structure. And that would make a lot of sense after following an eclipse, right, in your eighth house, where your kind of emotional structure is getting this rewiring effect. And now you have to look at, your beliefs and your philosophy on life, right? And your spiritual ethic on life, right? So there could be some fogginess for a little bit when Mercury is retrograde and you're not quite sure what to believe or what the truth is or what the meaning of all of this is. But this retrograde is really going to help you deepen that and deepen your perspective. So when you come out of that Mercury retrograde, you're going to have a lot more clarity, okay, on like what you believe in, what your perspective is, and how is that going to navigate the direction of your life going forward. If you're planning on any travel during this time, I would not make any commitments and use this retrograde period to kind of think about where you want to go, how you're going to get there, planning it, writing it down. And because there might be miscommunication that happens from, travel dynamics, traveling in general, or even miscommunication with others that are coming into your life at this time, okay? And then also this could be a time when your dreams are heightened and you get a lot more intuition and downloads, right? And that might actually help you with your creative pursuits, following into your career sector and your career house and the new cycle that happened with the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the career sector of your life. Okay, so that's your quick rundown, Cancer, for the month of February. I hope you have a great month, and I'll talk to you guys soon.